the wonderful work you do. And that's the surest way, it's like the English say, coming from the horse's mouth. So I am going to hand it over to you. And once you covered the sessions, we will have a question and answer short period. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you so
Alka.
much, Abhinashji. Thank you for inviting me here, and thank you for joining in. For everyone who doesn't know me, well, I have to say, Abhinashji, thank you for your kind words. You've got me, you've understood me very rightly. So I don't like to kind of say what I'm doing, but since you've asked me now, I will say my name. For people who don't know me, my name is Alka Pandey. I'm a specialist dietitian working at Buckinghamshire Healthcare Trust. I do two kind of roles. So I am a diabetes specialist dietitian and I'm an advanced care practitioner. So I'm trying to reduce hospital admissions at the main door through A&E and that kind of stuff. I work with patients in with diabetes, mainly type 1 and complex type 2s. I've been doing it for a long time. I've studied in India. I've practiced over there, and then I've come over here with my family, and so that's how I have got to work here. So um, I kind of understand the amalgamation of culture and food and diet choices from South Asia, from here. And that's where my USP is. So I can understand, I can talk in different languages. So that helps me establish a trust and rapport with people. People not necessarily who don't have English as their first language, but who are really interested to improve their diet. I'm your person to go to. And yes, I help people control their diabetes better, bring their HbA1c down. I help people with cardiac problems, blood pressure, weight loss, a lot of other stuff. Women's health I'm passionate about, because we South Asian women, and even I would include our black and ethnic minorities also in here, the global majority we call it as now, because culturally, if I'm seeing my patients, and what I've understood is we all are the same. We, in terms of diet, we are passionate about food. In terms of our health, we don't pay as much attention until we have a problem to solve. And so that's why, and my passion is to, because diabetes, blood pressure, hypertension, cardiac problems are like a whole kind of gamut of disorders that happen or are linked to one another. So I feel I'm not just helping with diabetes, I'm helping with a lot other things. And if I can make even one person, one family do better, I feel that's a win for me. So that's why I'm always, because my mantra is empower and educate. So empower the people with knowledge, educate them, and it's like a toolbox they have and they can use it when they need it. um am I okay to share my screen, and then I
Yes,
can
yes, yes, please do.
yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
If you can let me know if it's audible
you.
and if it's visible.
Mhm.
Is it visible, Abnashji?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
eating
okay.
well with
So,
diabetes. All
yeah,
right. Very
yeah.
nice post as well.
uh, yeah, like I'm a bit of a colorful person, I think. So, yeah, I think I go for the bright colors, carry my bright colors with me. So, what we are going to do today is how we can, if we have diabetes, how we are going to eat well or make changes to our diet so that we can take control of our diabetes and not have long term complications.
Yes,
This
yes.
is what is the main aim is. So controlling diabetes does not mean you are controlling it every day, every moment. So if
Mhm.
we do that way, we will get a burnout. But we develop a strategy, we develop a lifestyle that is so good that we don't need to pay attention, that we don't need to kind of work on it every day, every moment. That will give us a burnout, and there's a term for it. It's called as the diabetes burnout. We don't
Mhm.
want that to happen. So we inculcate habits, changes in diet, lifestyle, so that we are able to follow it sustainably and make changes so that it's a lifestyle change for us and we do it day in and day out without thinking. So that is what my aim is today. So, what is diabetes?
Mhm.
what happens is, I mean, everybody knows we have got an organ called as pancreas.
Mm,
So this pancreas produces insulin.
mm,
One of the functions is producing insulin. There's a lot of other things that the pancreas do. So where insulin is a hormone that allows the glucose enter our cells, and we need this glucose for energy, for metabolism, for our
mm,
brain to function properly. If I have to list three things that this glucose does, these are the three things. Now, what happens? Where does this glucose come from? So, this glucose comes from the food we eat, mainly carbohydrates. And that's why we say, there's a lot of fat diets, low carb diets, low this, low that. And, there's a lot of only protein diet and that kind of stuff. We need a bit of carbs because the cells need energy, without which our brain wouldn't function properly, because glucose is the only thing that can cross our blood brain barrier. So if we don't have enough glucose, which is coming from carbs, then our brain doesn't function properly. Our cells won't function properly. So we need this carbs, we need the glucose. When the glucose is digested and enters the blood, it's the insulin that opens the cells. So insulin is the key which opens the cells, and the glucose can go in. In diabetes, when we have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, there's no insulin or little insulin. So then there is no key to open the doors, and the glucose can't go in. So that's when the glucose kind of knocks and knocks and knocks at the door, can't go in. It says, okay, bye, fine, I'm not going to wait over here. It starts on a different journey. Then through the blood, it goes around to other cells to see if they can take them up. So now what happens is the cells is deprived of glucose, it's deprived of energy, and that's where cells are craving for food, for energy, and that's why we feel more hungry. Now we aren't getting the energy, so we lose weight. So the typical symptoms are we are feeling hungry, we are eating, but we are still losing weight. Okay, so that is happening. Now all this extra glucose binds to hemoglobin, or red blood cells, and that is what is measured as a diabetes marker, which is called as the HbA1c. So HB is the blood part of it, the RBC, and A1C is the glucose that attaches to it. So HbA1c is a very good marker of your diabetes for the last 3 months. And that is what your doctor or GP tests, or your dietitian, if you're going to a dietitian, will ask what it is. Um, it is a very good test that is done, and it is a marker. There are levels. There is a pre-diabetes level and there's a diabetic level. Okay. Not going into the nitty gritties of it, but generally that is what is said. Now, what happens is, if you are, so this HbA1c, and then the glucose is removed, because glucose then forms a byproduct of, it's like a waste product because it's not being used. So it's removed by the kidneys, who have to work hard to remove the glucose out of your system. And to remove every glucose goes, there's a lot of water that is pushed outside. And that's why people with diabetes say, oh, I'm going to the toilet a lot because I'm drinking a lot.
Yeah.
Thirsty, they are going to the toilet. They feel they are going to the toilet, that's why they are thirsty. It's like a vicious cycle. So you feel tired, you go thin, you're going to the toilet more, and you feel lethargic and tired all the time. So
Hmm.
these are the typical symptoms of diabetes, whether it is type 1 or type 2. You will see this, and usually there is a buildup of these symptoms.
Hmm.
um, well, the research says that starts at least 2 to 3 years before you actually get a diagnosis. So if we can take care of it now onwards, we will prevent it and push the onset of diabetes with us. So these are the symptoms to keep a watch out for. If you or any of your friends and family are experiencing this, then do get in touch with your GP or your dietitians, and um, keep an eye on it.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've done that. And we've done the science. I'll come to the science of low blood sugars later on. So, food groups are basically protein, carbohydrate, and fats. Everything which, when digested, gets converted into glucose. And without going into the chemistry and biology of it, because no one's interested in that, it will get converted into glucose. So, there are some foods which directly affect our blood sugars, and we should be thinking about the quantity of it. I'm not saying you can't have that ever,
Mhm.
can have that, but it's the quantity that you need to keep an eye on. So the foods will be sugar, sugary foods and drinks. Obviously, sugar is pure glucose. So when you have it, your blood sugars will spike up in 10 to 15 minutes. So
Mhm.
all those sugary drinks that we are having, either go in for the no sugar or diet versions,
Mhm.
or keep it to a minimum, keep it to celebrations. Starchy foods, yes, starchy foods are also have glucose, but the more complex the structure is, it is a complex structure, and the more complex it is, the more better it is for us, because it adds in the fiber, it makes the digestion and absorption slower, and once it is digested and absorbed slowly, the blood sugar rise is also slow, and that is what helps. Starchy vegetables can affect, you know, both are black and Asian minorities, base a lot of it on carbs and starchy vegetables. So things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, banana, yam, plantain, that butternut squash, that kind of stuff. So all these starchy vegetables, although they taste very nice and are yummy and have got a lot of vitamins, B vitamins especially,
Mhm.
they can affect our blood sugars. So if
Mhm.
you are looking to bring down your blood sugars, then keep an eye on the quantity that you're having. Milk and milk products, again, a very important food group, has carbs but has protein also. For a vegetarian like me, this forms a very important part of my protein intake. So I cannot rule it out, and I no one shouldn't rule it out, because it is also a source of a calcium and vitamin D, which we women of a certain age or about 30, we generally lack it anyways. So we are very much deficient in it, so we need to have that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Fruits. Fruits, yes, this is a misconception. When people start eating healthy, they say, oh, I'm having a lot of fruits.
Mhm.
So fruits are good, and we there's a UK government legislation which say we should be having 5 fruits and vegetables a day as part of the healthy eating advice, which is really good. I mean, even the latest guidelines say we should be having 7 portions of fruit and veg a day.
Mhm.
It is really it gets difficult to do that, but it is important. Now, fruits, I would say, if you're a diabetic, keep it to 2 a day. Don't have lots of fruits, because fruits has got fructose in it, which gets converted into glucose, whereas vegetables are kind of easier to digest, don't affect our blood sugars, so a better option. So keep it to 2 a day. So foods that do not impact our blood sugars are protein foods. So things like meat, fish, chicken, eggs, if you're having, they are good. We can increase our protein, lower the carb, they keep us full for longer, so better for us. Vegetables, other than the starchy vegetables, all vegetables are fine. Whether you want to have it as a curry, whether you want to have it as a stir fry, whether you want to have it as a salad, anything is fine. That's your choice. Cheese is an exception because it belongs to the milk and milk product category. But the way cheese is made, the lactose gets removed, which is the sugar in milk, and that's why cheese is fine. But obviously, if you're watching your weight or looking to eat healthily under the healthy eating umbrella, then I would suggest going for the low fat versions. And again, look at the quantity. Nuts are fine. Nuts are high in protein, high in fats too, good fats, but ultimately it is fat. So you got to see the quantity of it that you're having in a day. Fats and oils do not affect our blood sugars. And because I'm saying this in terms of diabetes, I'm saying this all in terms of diabetes. But because I've studied other things and I know how it works, I would say please don't go overboard with fats and oils. And that's what happens in a keto diet. So apologize right at the start to anyone who's following a keto diet. I'm not in favor of keto diet. I'm not very fond of keto diet because it's too much fats and oils. And I have had people who have come back to me and said they followed keto diets, and then their cholesterol and cardiac health has gone haywire. So high protein foods, just to give you a few examples, we talked about meat, fish, chicken, eggs. Obviously, go in for the lean meat first. Remove the skin if you can, because just below the skin is the maximum fat that is stored. So if you're removing the skin, you're removing the fat, you're lessening the fat by at least 30 to 40%. So that's really good. Fish is good. The cooking method does not affect the diabetes, but cooking with less of oil, grilling, steaming, roasting are the better ones to do with. Pulses, lentils, and beans are just marvelous. I love them. You can add them to soups, you can add them to stews, you can make a curry on its own, you can add it to cottage pie, you can add it to shepherd's pie, you can add it in anything basically. Wherever you can mask it, you can give it. They take the taste of what you're mixing it with, so they are really good to add protein, good to add fiber. They have some carbs in them, but they are really good sources otherwise. Soya alternatives, you can have different types of soya, tofu, tempeh, um, edamame beans, or any kind of soya, dried soya beans. Or I used to have a couple of years ago roasted soya nuts. I used to get it. Now I can't find it. So if anyone can find it, please do let me know. Nuts and seeds are fine.
Sorry for interrupting, Dr. Alka, but the slides are not moving. I'm stuck on the first page.
Oh
Is
dear.
it supposed to be that way? I'm so sorry.
Well, the slides are moving for me. Is it moving for someone else or just?
No.
It's on eating with diabetes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on
page.
the first page.
Oh dear. Hold on. Just 1 second. Thank you for telling me.
How about completely coming out and then start again?
Maybe.
Sharing your screen, coming out of sharing your screen and then coming back to share your screen again.
Just 1 second. I'll restart it. Is it visible now?
Let's see.
I doubt you have started sharing.
Okay, just 1 second. Sorry. Yes, I haven't shared as yet.
Lady Vinette, did you want to say anything?
No, I'm happy for us to continue with the presenter. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Is it
Oh yeah,
visible?
it's moved.
Yes, it's
Alka,
moved. It's moved.
It's moved.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened over there. Do you want me to just go through it again?
No, I think we can have a look at
You can
the
continue
yeah,
from where you
yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Just let me know if you aren't able to see that,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
fine.
will. So basically what I have covered is what is diabetes and why should we be measuring our blood sugars and few things. I'll talk about long-term complications later on. I started with the diet, and I'm talking about diet under the healthy eating umbrella, but more specific to diabetes. And because I'm passionate about teaching a preventive approach, I feel that diet is a very important part of it. And that is one thing that can really help to change your diabetes management. So I was talking about, I've talked about foods that can affect your blood sugars, foods that don't affect your blood sugars. I was talking about a little bit about giving examples of high protein foods. So I was talking about that, and soya alternatives, nuts and seeds. I think the thing that was remaining was dairy, milk, yogurt, and cheese. Like I said, for a vegetarian like me, or who is a vegetarian by, I've never had non-vegetarian food, or if someone's turning vegetarian or vegan, then having these kind of protein choices is a good option. Foods with high fat content, and the use with caution is small, but I think I should have made it bigger. Uh, Again, like dairy is a form of protein also, so please don't rule it out, because nowadays people, as soon as the new year starts, everyone goes on to a new diet, new year kind of thing, and goes on to like a very restrictive diet, which I'm not very fond of. But everyone has a personal choice and a personal kind of opinion, and they can try it. But when you start with restrictive diets, it's you're restricting our food groups. Along with that, you restrict your vitamin and mineral intake, and that the food group will be providing. And so, in long term, if we are following it for a long term, we can go into nutritional deficiencies, which we don't want to happen. And the other thing is, in the long term, we can develop some other kind of problems that we may not be aware of at the start, because every food reacts differently in different persons. So, yes, food with high fat content we need to take with caution, but then there are good fats and there are bad, I wouldn't say bad fats, but not so good fats. So, fats, dairy, yogurt, cheese, are really good because they are giving us protein also, they're giving us calcium, they help with our vitamin D absorption, which I think 50% of the UK population might be deficient in vitamin D. And so, looking at oils, that is always a good kind of burning question as to what oil should we be eating. In terms of quality, the oils that are good are olive oil, rapeseed oil, mustard oil, and other vegetable oils or seed oils. But the thing is that however good the oil might be, if we are having loads and loads of that, it's not going to help us. It will still be converted into the cholesterol, highly available, converted into triglycerides, which can block our cardiac heart arteries. So, for a long term, if you're thinking about long term, think about the quality and the quantity also. So, you can go in for other methods or the alternative methods that can be used for cooking, like roasting or grilling or steaming. And I'm sure in our cuisines are so kind of varied, our traditional cuisines are so kind of varied, which we have lost over a period of time. So if we go back to our roots, we might be able to find something that we love and use it in our lives. Okay. So one general kind of thing to remember is any fat that solidifies at room temperature. So, for example, ghee, coconut oil, or that kind of thing. Any these are fat. These are called as saturated fats, and they are the not so good fats. They are still they are good. We should be having all types of fats, but if you overdo with one type, that is not how we can keep good cardiac health. So have a mix of oils. You can have some olive oil, you can have some ghee, you can have some coconut oil, but too much of any one thing is not advisable. Glycemic index. I like to talk a little bit about that. Glycemic index is a criteria that ranks carbohydrate containing foods depending on the impact they have on blood glucose level. So if you think about it, if you think of sugar or pure glucose as having a glycemic index of 100, the lower the glucose, the better, the lower the glycemic index, the better it is for us. So glucose is at the highest end, the lowest end or the lower ends will be better for us. So the low GI release sugar slower, and they are digested and absorbed slower. So therefore they affect our blood glucose really slowly and not as much. So low GI foods are better for us. Typically, low GI foods will be the one who have got a whole grain or complex structure, or cereals and grains that are not very processed. So again, if we go back to our traditional roots, millets or that kind of grains are better for us, which have minimum processing and minimum refining. Um, Again, if you were to combine a bit of salads and fiber along with it, that also makes it low glycemic index. So that is even another way of having lowering the glycemic index of the food you're eating. So just a few examples over here. And exercise, I cannot underestimate the importance of exercise, because I think about the holistic health and how overall can we improve. Though I'm a diabetes specialist dietitian, I think about everything else and making the person feel better. I'm not just talking in terms of diabetes. If I was to tell you have only fats and oils, your diabetes will be better. But do I want that for you? No, because long-term effect of that might be something that you may not want it. So in terms of thinking about holistic health, exercise is very important. 30 minutes of activity daily is what is recommended. Regular exercise increases. And why is it important? Because it increases the insulin sensitivity. It makes the insulin more available to the cells, more effective. What happens in type 2 diabetes is there is some insulin produced by the pancreas, but it is not working as effective to 100% of its capacity. So exercise makes that insulin work better for us. That's what tablets like metformin do. Metformin makes the pancreas to produce more insulin and makes the insulin more effective. And that's what exercise can do too. So it's the same. If you don't want to take your tablets, if you've been advised to take tablets, do take it. But exercise will help you get better blood sugar controls. Maintain hydration, very, very important, often forgotten. We need to take 8 to 10 glasses of fluids daily. And I say fluids, not water. That is important. So fluids include everything that we might take. So like cups of teas, coffees, no added sugar squashes, or any other fluid that you might be taking. Everything is important. Even more water content in fruits. So for example, cucumbers, watermelon, and that kind of stuff are also counted in your fluid intakes. So they are also good. Muscle mass is important. As we age, we lose muscle because it can be two ways. One, we are lessening the protein, other, our activity is going down. And that's why exercise is important to help us stay independent till the last era of our life. Okay. And if you want to, that is my tip. If you want to reduce your blood sugar levels, walk after meals. 15 to 20 minutes walk is what will help you control it better. Lifestyle changes. Everyone knows sleep is so very important. As women, we know we need it for our beauty, isn't it? Beauty sleep, as we call it. But yes, it helps with our stress control, our hormone control, helps our body repair itself. So that is important, because even when you're sleeping, your body is working for you to make it better. That's amazing, isn't it? Get fresh air daily, get sunshine daily, eat at regular times if you can. Obviously, I understand, we all are very busy and it may not be possible, but as much as you can, you do, and that will help you. Avoid overeating. Sometimes when we are stressed, we kind of eat without thinking. Uh, Other times we may be, or if we are busy, sometimes we are having a working lunch and we eat without even thinking, and then we don't feel that um, fullness or satiety, and we think we need to eat more, and that is where we fall sometimes. Walk daily to improve our digestion and mobility. And what I recommend is small bursts of activity through the day. People who are busy, young children are running with them all the time, and that is good. We need small bursts of activity through the day. We can't do like 30 minutes of exercise in the morning and then sit down on the sofa all the day, or you're working 8 hours and then sitting on there. So just get up every hour or so. If you get up for 5 minutes, do some kind of activity. There's lots you can do. Just running on the spot, jogging on the spot, or doing star jumps, or just arm exercises. Anything, any activity you do is helpful. If you're a diabetic, then Diabetes UK is a good option. It's the website, it's free. You can have a look on there. There's loads of information. So the key action points to take away is self-monitoring. If we don't monitor, we don't know what's happening. And that is where we can fall back, isn't it? So self-monitoring is very important. Carb counting, if you're a diabetic, especially type 1, really, really important. And dietary adjustments that we've spoken about, very, very important and prove very, very effective. Thank you for listening to me, and I'll stop sharing now and take on some questions.
Okay, anybody got any questions?
And now that the presentation is finished, I just wanted to add that one other thing that I found that really helps me and helps to control weight as well is snacking on things like avocados, blueberries, pumpkin seeds, and then putting the chia in the water and allowing it to swell up. It also makes sure that I feel that
Again,
I have. Yeah, that I've had. My stomach is full most of the times, and I snack on things like celery sticks and carrots as well. And one other thing to add to the amazing presentation that you've just done today. Thank you very, very much. That was certainly absolutely amazing. Is to remind us all that we need to allow our food to digest before going to bed, or at least even an hour before going to bed to allow our food to digest.
Absolutely. That is so important. I really agree with whatever you have said. I mean, all the factors or all the foods that you have said are more volume and lower calories. So they are the best kind of snacks. Chia water, chia seeds are very good for us because they are sources of omega-3. They swell up, so they provide more satiety, keep us feeling full. So really good pointers. Yes. I do, I do like to talk a lot, so I can keep on talking. Sorry.
Well, Alka, I mean, it was a wonderful presentation, and thank you for all the information. But unlike Dr. Lady Burnett, I'm a bit, I know all the facts, but I tend to be a bit lazy, like you mentioned. It could be, I mean, my excuse is, oh, I didn't have time to cook something, and I live on my own, blah blah blah. So, I admire. Like all the foods that Dr. Lady Vanette mentioned are really good. Like carrots is the only one I liked out of all of that, and maybe blueberries, which is I just acquired a taste for that. The rest I know are good. All right. And I tried eating those things, and I know because I tend to eat very late because from morning till night, maybe I'm working. So say when I have a bit of time for myself, which is 9:30, that's when I tend to binge eat, I think, and that's
But
why I
this,
think my cholesterol has gone up and my blood pressure as well.
um,
And which is one of the reasons I know what's right. I know, and it's just when I have a meeting then coming up, I have to look good. So then I do a quick detox, all right, which is not the best way to do it because
Yeah.
obviously you're ruining your body. So, but it's a wonderful presentation, and
that brings me to
obviously.
one question. Just like Abby has just, Dr. Abnash has just mentioned that she eats, for the whole day she'll eat at one time, and then that's that. A lot of us have that question. Some people suggest, most dietitians, they say like, eat every 2 hours in small quantities. Some say no, don't do that. Have just two good meals. So, what would you suggest about the timings and how you should space your food?
Okay. So thank you, Lady Violet Peters. Thank you for your question and your contribution. I forgot to say that earlier, so thank you for that. I really agree with what you have said. And coming back to your question, I think it's Meenakshi, isn't it? Because I can't see
Yes.
the name.
Yes.
Hi, Meenakshi. Thank you for your question. And that is very true. And that's where we as dietitians are instrumental in helping you and supporting you, because one type of diet cannot be applied to everything, to every person is so very different. Like if Dr. Abnash, if I was to tell her, you got to eat every 2 hours, she's not going to listen to me. She'll be like,
No.
go away, Alka, I don't want to listen to you.
Which is true.
Yes. So it's not going to happen. So as a dietitian, I will tell her as to what she can do in through the day, little things that will prove beneficial. The problem is when we don't eat through the day, obviously our body is craving for energy. So that's when you start eating, it's like strikes the, it's like the avalanche that goes through. It will go through.
True, true.
And what do we do to prevent that? The fact is that we need to be less hungry when it is our main meal timing. How can we do that? We can go with, don't eat every 2 hours. Children, it is prescribed that every 2 hours. Even some elderly people who can't eat, who are bed bound or something, or who can't eat for whatever reason. I see a lot of elderly population being admitted, especially during winters. I mean, throughout the year, but yeah, to them I will say, because they are so tired, they can't eat a big amount at one time. So in that case, I will tell them to have every 2 hours, little
Mhm.
and frequent meals. But if we are, Abnashti, I think you should increase the protein foods. So, like small snacks, like roasted chana or soya bean in some form, or whenever you have time, if you can do some prep and make some. Meenakshi, even you, I know you are busy with children and a lot of other things that you do, extremely busy women on here and on this call. So I would say preparation and organizing will help a bit.
Yes.
Or
Thank
if
you.
you have if you have
Yeah.
made something and there's some small portion remaining, do not throw it away. Freeze it for when you would like to use it and you are really busy.
Yeah. True. Very true. Thank you so much, Dr. Alka. And I should say it's a really very, very helpful presentation. It's really opened up our eyes, and a lot of people are going to benefit watching this. Thank you so much.
I really hope so. Thank you for the invite and thank you everyone for joining the call. Raki,
Alka, I
Meenakshi,
think
Nidhi.
I would like to ask a question.
Sure.
Raki.
So yeah, initial bit I missed because I was waiting for the host, and then I had something, and then joined later when you started the dairy thing.
Okay.
Well, I will go through the presentation, which is fine. My question is, like, I'm very lazy to cook breakfast in the morning, so I
Mhm.
just make the toast,
Hmm.
the tea, and have it.
Okay.
So for past many years, I'm doing like this. For kids, I
Hmm.
do a little bit, extra, like okay, boil the egg or do something like avocado toast. Sometimes I also take avocado toast.
Hmm.
But any other options you suggest as a vegetarian, which is
Yeah.
quick, handy, and full of protein as well,
Do
good
you
thing.
eat eggs, Raki?
I don't like to eat
Okay.
eggs.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I'll tell you a very easy option that is doable and that's good for you also, Abnashji, if you can do it. It just takes 2 minutes. I would suggest for everyone to do that if you're really busy and need a good breakfast in the morning. So the night before, take a Greek yogurt. Take Greek yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
You can go in for 0% fat or 5% or 10%, whichever taste you like, as long as it is Greek yogurt, not the Greek style yogurt one. The Greek
Ah,
style one
so
does
there's a
not have,
difference.
yes, there is a
Ah,
difference. The Greek style one does not have as much protein, whereas the Greek yogurt has got good protein in it.
okay, okay,
So
interesting.
there's 0% fat, 5% fat, 10% fat. Whichever taste you like, take that. Take around 200 grams of that yogurt. Add your chia seeds in it. And Lady Violet Peters, you can use your chia seeds in that way also. Add your chia seeds to it, 1 to 2 tablespoons, whatever consistency you like. You can, and just mix it. Add in a little bit of milk to make it a little less thick if you wanted to, or you can do that in the morning. Keep it in the fridge. Next morning, the chia seeds will have soaked up nicely, swelled up nicely. It's got protein in it. It's got that omega 3 in it. Add little bit of seeds, or berries, whatever you want to have. So you can add your blueberries over there, raspberries, any berries,
Sure.
sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. Make it taste nicer.
So I like this sort of breakfast in the summertime, but in winter and most of the time, actually, I like to eat hot breakfast,
Hot
like hot
breakfast.
tea or some garam paratha or something like that. Not like cold.
Okay. Well, the thing is, I could have said, things like poha or upma will also do, but
Yeah,
then it's like preparing in the morning,
yeah. I
which is
mean,
important.
poha, upma, and sabudana,
No, not
avocado
sabudana,
toast.
please.
No, really, is it not good?
No, no. Sabudana is very high in carb. So, you won't be able to have
Acha.
little bit. That
Okay.
will not fill you up. You will need loads to fill you up.
No, normally I
Oh,
feel quite full and sometimes bloated as well if I eat sabudana.
Exactly. So, because it is
Full
high
of
in carbs, it is
okay.
difficult to digest. For
Right.
for your
oh.
gut, it is difficult to digest. Many
Uh,
people, if you have sabudana, if you've noted, you won't feel hungry for next 5 or 6 hours sometimes.
yeah, yeah, correct. Correct.
Yeah, that is the food they take for this thing, no? When they say I am fasting
Fasting.
today for some
Fasting.
reason. Yeah.
Yes,
Right, right,
that is the thing. If you have sabudana, you don't even feel as if you're fasting because your tummy
Yeah,
is so full.
definitely. Yeah,
right.
exactly. That's not even fasting actually.
So yeah, there's that. Or there's one more thing I can tell you. There's grain called as sama,
Okay,
or it is one of the millet called as barnyard millet.
okay,
It cooks in 5 minutes.
okay.
Literally cooks in 5 minutes. What I do is when I'm fasting, I don't eat sabudana. I do the sama because it is vrat ka khana. You can have it
Right.
during fasting, and just take a pan. You can add the sama, wash it like how you wash your rice, cup 1 or 2 times, and then add a little bit of salt. You can add your if you're not fasting, you can, or whatever, you can add like things like spinach or vegetables in there. You can add your seeds in there, little bit of like spice it up with herbs, spices, coriander, green coriander leaves, ginger. It tastes yum.
Okay. So it's kind of a जैसे पोहा एंड साबूदाना होता है उस तरह का ब्रेकफास्ट हुआ ये.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
But it
Right.
doesn't even take the time you need to take to
Right.
make
Sure.
poha and
Sure.
upma. It's like you
Sure.
just put in these things, put it on the pan, 5 minutes, it's done.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
What,
That's
Raki, what about porridge? Because I mean, that's always been the
yeah.
traditional, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Avinash, I have tried porridge,
Huh.
and when I eat porridge, I feel hungry after a while. Like, it doesn't fill me
I'm
up.
walking after my own heart then, because I'm the same.
What
Normally,
about
I've heard from people
cornflakes?
that, they
Oh,
feel
no,
quite
no
full.
cornflakes. Who's saying that?
That's
Oh,
Manakshi.
me. The other lazy one.
I think
No.
cornflakes and any other cereal for that matter. I think because as a diabetes dietitian, we now use the Libra or the sensors that tells us, we use it with our patients. We have tried it ourselves. Cereals are the notorious ones. The blood sugar goes ping.
Mm,
Oh,
Occasionally,
oh
I
my
think it's
goodness.
okay.
Occasionally
Sometimes,
is fine.
occasionally.
yeah,
Occasionally is fine. Like
Yeah.
I said, all this is like if you're doing 80% of the time, this, you 20% of the time you can
Yeah.
still eat what you
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
as long as what our aim is to prevent long-term complications.
That's
we
true.
so
we
actually,
all will develop some kind of things at some point, but we are trying to push the start of it as much as possible, and we want to
Mm.
live a life that whenever we get it or don't get it, we are best independent and working, have a best quality of life.
I think
so
that,
Alka, tell me, why do I feel still hungry even after a bowl of porridge with some fruits and nuts in it? So why does that make me feel hungry just after an hour or so? Because no,
Maybe I don't know which porridge. Do you make your porridge or do you having the ready-made packets?
we buy that oat,
yeah.
organic oat,
Oatmeal. Yeah.
and then we just make it in the milk or water, and then add milk
Mm.
later on top of that.
Again, yeah, I mean, with porridge it can be very the way Scottish people used to traditionally make it was the rolled oats, and they used to make it, it was minimum processed. It used to be called rolled oats, and it was minimum
Mm,
processed, and it's mainly a traditional food from Scotland, and they used to do it that way. Now it is all processed, and in the process all the fiber or something gets removed. It's more refined, more processed, and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it is better to have that than not having anything.
Yeah, yeah, correct. Correct.
I think
There are
also,
protein versions available. I think just recently or just today I have tried a new one called as Bio and Me, which is by one of my dietetic colleagues from King's. She has gone into this and she has made it. So I've tried it today. It tasted quite nice.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Okay.
and I'm not feeling as hungry because I thought I might need to take my lunch before this, but I haven't had the need to take it. So
Normally, yeah, if my day is busy, then I make porridge bowl
exactly.
for everybody in my home, like whoever is working from home and things like
Yes.
that. But it's only me who feels hungry. Rest of them are fine.
I think
I,
also
that,
it depends on each individual's body as
Mhm.
well, because I mean, with similar to yourself, Rocky, I can eat something, but if it's not within my time element, I feel I haven't eaten, so I need to eat twice as that much. And which is a bit wrong. And the similar thing is like if I'm told something is good for me, my body automatically rejects it. It's like, oh, I don't want to eat that. I'd rather eat that. And so it's I think it's something that each of us individually are faced with. I mean, it's like whenever the doctor threatens me by giving me injections or something, it's funny how I go into a very good diet and then they say, well, your cholesterol wasn't high, your blood pressure was high because it's back to normal now. Because it's the fear. My God, I'm not very good at I'm not very compliance is the word that the doctors use with me with medication. So I rather get my body in tune before I see him next. All right. So then I do everything right. I can make the time to eat properly. I can make the time to do the exercise. And once he's passed me the good clear bill, it goes back to the see, and I know
Avnash,
me. All
you
right.
remind me of my mom. She's like, I need to go to my doctor. So I'm like eating very nicely and very strictly. I'm like, that's
it,
not how
you know,
it works.
it's that old thing, and I think it's all of us. It's like when you call a cleaner in, you clean the house topless because you don't want someone to see your rubbish. So then you think, why am I paying you? I mean, my daughters criticize me for that because they say, Mom, you cleaned it. So why are you calling the cleaner now? Call her when it's
Yeah,
messy again.
exactly.
So I think, but it's very interesting. And I think sometimes we need to be informed, Alka. So thank you for a wonderful presentation and talk. And obviously, it's going to go all across the media. So you might get more people dropping questions onto you because you will tag into it, because that's the whole idea as ICG chairs and as our speakers, that we expand your business and you expand, and it's also you're sharing your knowledge, which is a
Yeah,
great thing. Just imagine when you get somebody who's like, oh, Alka, I listened to your advice, I looked at those presentations and I've gone by that.
that's really good.
And
I would
thank you
like to
very much.
have that feedback, Avnashji.
Yeah.
That would be marvelous.
Yeah, and I think people do give feedback because I've seen it when I post something, they come back. And so thank you very much. And I hope you continue to do maybe another talk whenever you have the time in a month's time.
Absolutely.
And this is why we're saying, so if anybody wants to do a talk, please tell us at least 10 days in advance, because then we can go across the media so we have more and then also let your media people know as well. I mean, let your people, your contacts know, because then the more people join them, it spreads. It's like, when you do a talk, and I remember we did a talk of last week or the week before that, we had 15 people, but it's when I looked at the targets, because that's what I looked, 3 times that had access from ours and yours. So I'm going to put that. Unfortunately, Alka says she's in hospital at the moment.
Oh
So
dear.
hopefully he can put it, or we get someone to put it in tomorrow or at the
Yeah.
maximum day after. So then let's see, because I love to see you grow, because you've got such good energy. And I think it's energy that draws people towards them. Thank you very much for being our guest speaker.
Thank you for coming and listening in. It is my real pleasure to do that.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
For
Alka.
joining. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your
Bye.
advices. Thank you,
Thank you.
Abnash, Meenakshi, and Lady Vanet.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good day.
Good day.